Coming up next on We Are Marshall Today, we'll profile one of our most popular degree programs and tell you why it appeals to many students.
Plus, it may be summer break for a lot of you, but Marshall University is still buzzing with activity. We'll have details on this and other stories coming up next on We Are Marshall Today.
Hello and welcome to We Are Marshall Today. I'm Dan Hollis.
And I'm Leah Edwards. Marshall University recently received a beautiful collection of glassworks from a Huntington couple with close ties to the university.
Doctors Joseph and Omema Tuma gave their private collection of Pilgrim cameo glass to the university during a special ceremony in May. Cameo glass was created in 1987 by a team of artisans at Pilgrim Glass Corporation in Cerrito, West Virginia. The technique, which involves carving through layers of different colored glass, was an enormous challenge to the artist. They worked for years perfecting their craft. Dr. Monica Brooks, who's been instrumental in shepherding the project, says the collection is exquisite.
It's a sampling of different types of cameo glass from the Pilgrim Glass Company that unfortunately went out of business not too long ago. And Kelsey Murphy is the artisan who perfected this technique, and she has been instrumental in assisting Dr. Tuma in selecting materials and also identifying which pieces are which.
Pilgrim Glass began operating in Cerrito in 1949 under the direction of Alfred Nobler. Later, Robert Bokamp and Kelsey Murphy came on board, and the three developed the concept of cameo glass. It's a form of art that Dr. Joseph Tuma says he has always admired.
It's a unique art glass. I look at art glass as color, shape, and I call it real art. And what we had here in Huntington for 20 years is the real art glass, where they put several layers of glass, different color, and they carved it and sandblasted it and came up with some beautiful scenery and themes.
The collection was dedicated during a ceremony Memorial Day weekend. It's on permanent display in the Drinko Library and is open to the public. Joining us now is the Dean of the College of Fine Arts, Don VanHorn.
Morning, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you, appreciate it.
First of all, I guess give us a little indication of what is involved of the College of Fine Arts.
Well, the college consists of 3 academic departments. We're also home to the Martial Artists Series, departments of art and design, music and theater, so the traditional configuration of creative arts on a campus. We offer comprehensive academic programs in all those areas. And then, as I said, we also are home to the Artist Series, which of course is a major component of the university and its interaction with the community. And the Artist Series is one of the longest running town gown performing arts series in the country. So that's a real credit to Marshall, and we're very proud of that.
Tell us a little bit about the kinds of students that would be good for a College of Fine Arts.
Well, it's interesting. We get a lot of students who come to college thinking that they want to major in one of the arts, particularly in the performing arts, because they will have had probably extracurricular exposure to music or acting in high school. And they come to the university and they realize that this is more than just extracurricular activity. It's real work. It's very hard, rigorous, demands a lot of study and focus. And so we will traditionally lose some students along the way in the first year because they realize that's not really what they're interested in. So what we end up with is students who have developed a genuine desire to study and to learn more about a particular art form, and some of those students end up moving over into the College of Education because they want to teach art, music, or drama, but a number of them stay and focus and end up with a degree that would allow them then to move on to either graduate school, or careers in the arts.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. What kind of job opportunities are there out there for graduates, and then how many of them, what percentage of them would go on to grad school?
Well, of course, as I said, one of the main opportunities is in the field of education. So a number of our students do end up being educators, either K-12 or going on into doing master's work in a particular discipline, even doctoral work, and then teaching at the college level. That's probably the first and highest field where our students will end up. We do have a number of students, for instance, in theater. Our students can come out of the theater program and move right into the profession. Last year we had a student who, before he even left the university, graduated in May, but he actually left in April before graduation to go to New York to start working on a Broadway production. That's a rare instance where a student moves straight into an opportunity at that level, but a lot of our students move into theater production. Some do go on the stage. A number of our graphic design students in the visual arts program go on into careers, move right into careers in the graphic design field. So couple that with students then moving on into graduate work. Most of our students do move on in some form or fashion, either career directly related to what they've studied, some indirect, and then a number of them move on to graduate school. So we're pleased with what our students are doing after they graduate.
Well, talking about some of what your students are doing, you recently had a campaign revolving around social justice. Talk a little bit more about what that would involve.
Well, the College of Fine Arts has an endowed program called the Burke Fine Arts Symposium, and that comes around once every 4 years, and it's actually an interdisciplinary symposium that involves the 3 programs in the college, art, music, and theater, and then it also involves the Department of English, and particularly creative writing. So those 4 programs, those 4 departments come together once every 4 years to offer this interdisciplinary seminar. And each year that comes around, a faculty committee selects a broad theme that then each department, each program tailors various offerings to. And this year, 2009-10, the theme for the symposium was social justice, giving voice to the arts, or through the arts. And the focus was on underserved groups that are assisted by the arts, that are lifted up by the arts in some form or fashion. We challenged our students to come up with a project that sort of paralleled that theme, and this year our students developed a service project where they conducted a campaign to collect baskets, laundry baskets, that were filled with essential items that people who find themselves at a domestic violence shelter here in Huntington would need. So our students ran this campaign. They worked to inform the whole campus about this project, and then on a day in April they set aside a day to collect all of the baskets. So people from all over campus brought baskets to that collection site in the Student Center. We anticipated we might collect 50 baskets. We collected over 100 from the campus community. Even people outside the campus community brought in baskets, and so we ended up having to rent a U-Haul truck, packed the truck full of all these baskets, and took it to this domestic violence shelter so that they would have then things to give predominantly women and children who come to that shelter more often than not without anything other than the clothes they're wearing. And so they need things immediately to kind of keep their lives moving. And so it was a tremendous success. And I think what will happen is our students will want to continue that tradition at least next year. So I think we'll be doing something similar to that next year.
Something to be proud of.
Yeah, very proud.
Dean VanHorn, thanks for being here. Coming up next on We Are Marshall today, the sights and sounds of Marshall's annual Jazz Festival. Details when we return.
Trying to annoy each other, kill the time, kill the boredom.
My company's downsizing. I thought it'd be in my best interest to go back to school. But as busy as I am, commuting was not going to be an option. But with MU Online, I can take classes anywhere.
Nationally accredited, affordable, convenient. MU Online.
Marshall University students were busy the last few weeks of the spring semester with tests and projects, but they weren't too busy to consider the needs of others. Students in the university's residence halls collected more than $200 for families of the miners involved in the Upper Big Branch tragedy.
The thing that touches me most about this whole fundraiser is the fact that this is money that's coming directly from the students, the staff members here on campus. It really shows that they care and that they were touched by the situation as well, especially with the time of year that this happened, at the very end of the semester. The students, college-age students, of course, are very, very taxed in regards to their time, they're stressed. They also don't have a lot of money when it comes to just giving it away.
Capstone, which manages the first-year residence halls at Marshall, contributed $2,000 to the cause as well. Hundreds of other university freshmen will attend orientation this summer at Marshall. Orientation is traditionally a half-day session, but this year Marshall is offering something a little different. Students can spend a little extra time on campus through an overnight program. Administrators say they're testing the overnight session to see if the additional time is beneficial.
This is a pilot program. We're going to see how it works. We're doing it for 2 different evenings. We're doing it in June and again in July. And if it's successful, we may implement it a few more nights next year.
Students participating in the overnight orientation can either attend a taping of the student-produced talk show Up Late with Jamie Lafiego, or they can hang out at the rec center. Additional activities for parents are also planned.
Orientation isn't the only summer activity on campus. In June, the Jomi Jazz Center was home for Marshall's annual Jazz Mutaz. This year's music festival featured performances by guest artist Phil Thompson, Marshall's faculty combo Blue Train, and instruction for high school music students who are interested in jazz. Professor Sean Parsons says the event continues to draw students from around the region.
We do have a lot of students returning from year to year. We actually, a number of the students are actually coming to Marshall next year. I think 5 of the seniors that are here at the camp at least are coming to Marshall University to be music.
During Jazz Mutaz, students develop their skills in improvisation and learn about the history and theory of jazz. Marshall University's College of Science and Career Services have endorsed a fly fishing team, and we promise this is no fishtail. The team is called Team Marshall Fly Fishing. One of the members is a 1973 graduate, Greg Hall, who says he hoped to gain more national exposure for his alma mater. Hall is on the pro staff of Fly Rod Chronicles with Curtis Fleming, which is an award-winning TV show broadcast nationally. The show agreed to follow Team Marshall for an upcoming episode. The programming airs on the Sportsman Channel.
And more sports news for you. Video and audio components at the Joan C. Edwards Stadium are getting a major upgrade this summer. A new 11-year agreement between ISP Sports and Marshall includes 2 new state-of-the-art video boards and a new sound system. Construction on the new units is underway already. Additional upgrades include new signage and lighting at the Cam Henderson Center and other athletic venues.
In addition to the excitement about the new scoreboard, there is building momentum for the upcoming football and basketball seasons. The annual Big Green Coaches Tour is attracting bigger crowds than in previous years, a sight that Athletic Director Mike Hamrick says is energizing.
You kind of go to work all day and you say, oh my gosh, I got to go here tonight, or I got to go here, and you kind of dread it for a minute until you walk in and you see all these great Marshall fans, and they're the ones that are supporting us, and they're the ones that are making our program grow, and they're going to be the key to our success, and you just really enjoy being around them and visiting with them and talking about Marshall athletics.
The Big Green Coaches Tour makes its last stop at the Greenbrier in mid-July. Marshall's first football game is scheduled for September 2nd against Ohio State.
Disney's Institute for Business Excellence made a stop at Marshall University in May. The day-long conference attracted more than 300 business leaders from around the region. The Disney Institute is known worldwide for its business strategies.
And Leah, one of Disney's best practices for businesses is appropriate recognition for its employees.
You're absolutely right, Dan, and Marshall University is doing just that. Nearly 1,700 people are employed at Marshall University as staff. Many handle student-related tasks like financial aid, housing, and registration. Others maintain the university's physical plant, building maintenance, and sustainability. And there are also administrators who handle fiscal issues and determine strategic goals. While they have very different roles, all of them are essential to the university. President Stephen Kopp delivered the message during the annual Service Awards luncheon, where 25-year veteran employee Linda Beaver and others were honored.
So as the years go, I've grew, as the students have. I also went back to school, got my associate's degree, which I'm very proud of. So the school's been really good to me.
Director of Human Resource Services, Michelle Douglas, says the annual Service Awards Luncheon is a great way to give a corporate pat on the back.
They work so long during the academic year, during the whole year actually, to serve our students and our staff and our faculty as well, and we need to recognize that. You know, it's a lot of work. They are the people that actually keep the university going on a regular basis, so we need to take the time to get away from the workday, get away from the desk, and say thank you.
During the annual luncheon, the university's Employee of the Year was also announced.
We select an Employee of the Month. We are a committee of about 5, comprised of faculty, staff, and student members, and each month an employee is elected. And then from that group of 12, we select an Employee of the Year who exemplifies qualities and character that are just wonderful. You know, they're all great, but this individual has that little extra, and we choose them for Employee of the Year.
This year's recipient is Diane Williams, who works with Marshall's Help Program. Williams, who suffered a stroke last winter, told colleagues she is eager to return to work in the fall.
Joining us now is Dr. Elaine Baker, who heads up our RBA program here at Marshall University. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
RBA, I abbreviated there. It's the Regents Bachelor of Arts degree, and it really is one of our most popular degree programs. Tell our audience a little bit about what the degree program is and the folks that are involved in it.
It is actually a statewide degree program. All of the four-year colleges and universities in the state of West Virginia, the public schools, all have an RBA program. And the state started it in the mid-1970s as a degree program primarily designed for people who had left school without graduating. And it's a program that helps working adults with some college education to finish their degrees in a way that is a little easier for them than coming to campus perhaps and being a full-time student.
Now, it is a very popular program,
yes,
and many students in it, but there are some misconceptions about the program, and tell me a little bit about that and address some of those issues.
All right, well, you know, there are probably several levels of misconception. I had a call just last week from an employer in another state who had no idea what this degree was. And there are about 17 states in the country that have these adult degree completion programs. So a lot of employers think it's a purchased degree, or they have no idea that it's a legitimate degree offered by an accredited institution. Some of the adults who are interested in finishing their degrees have the misconception that they don't have to take any classes, that if they just enroll in the RBA and use some of their life experiences, they will get a degree without doing any academic work, and that's not always, usually not the case. And some people on campus think it's an easy way out, that somehow it has no standards or requirements, and that's also a major misconception.
There is not a specific, you don't have a major with an RBA, but you are allowed areas of emphasis.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that and how people choose what their area of emphasis might be.
An area of emphasis generally requires more work than a minor, but less work than a major in a concentrated area. And we have, for example, one in preschool development, which people who are working in child care centers or are working in daycare work might choose that one because it allows them to still use the flexibility of the RBA program, but get the courses that the state wants them to have in order to work in certified daycare centers. So sometimes it's done for private interest, sometimes it's done for career enhancement or development, and sometimes it just happens. For example, we have an area of emphasis in psychology, and it's any 18 hours in psychology, and so people who like psych often have taken a lot of psychology. They didn't know they had an area of emphasis already.
So describe to me your typical RBA student, a returning student, maybe a little bit older. Give me a description.
Yeah. Usually, we have actually two main groups of students. Half of them are returning adults. They are older. Most of them are not on campus. They utilize the online courses a lot. They use their work experience for portfolios to gain credit if they've been in the military. And we do have a large number of active military and veterans who are students. And with the online courses, they can be in Afghanistan, they can be anywhere in the world and finish their degrees. The other half of our population are usually current Marshall students in their 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th year who have not finished a degree for a number of reasons. And the RBA allows them to graduate. They may have exhausted all their financial aid or their parents' patience or their willingness to stay in school. And so because we sometimes have fewer general education requirements and have no major, they can sometimes graduate with us where it would have taken them another year or two if they stayed in the program they were in.
Now, I have seen recently some advertisements about RBA Today. So is there a distinction between the Regents Bachelor of Arts and RBA Today?
Right. Just this year, the state of West Virginia has started really an advertising campaign, an initiative, which they're calling RBA Today. And it's an attempt, you know, West Virginia has a large number of people who did not graduate from college. And so we have a low number of college graduates. So the state is trying to increase the number of graduates, and the RBA Today program is an advertising campaign to get people to reconsider the RBA. The degree is still the RBA. None of our requirements have changed. We have some more courses, we're offering a little more flexibility, but it is still the RBA program.
And one more question. You mentioned online classes, so the RBA does offer an online component.
Well, in a way, we don't offer any courses at all. Our students take courses in the rest of the university, and because Marshall has a large online course population, students can often finish their degrees completely online in the RBA.
Okay. And one last question here, and then I'll finish up. Why do you think the program is so successful and so attractive to a number of people?
Part of it is the flexibility. We do accept all military credits. We allow people to ask faculty to evaluate their work experience for credit. I think primarily the advantage is the flexibility. Our course requirements are not as stringent or restrictive as they are in other degree programs.
So they can contact Marshall University and find out about the RBA
Absolutely.
program.
We'll be more than happy to talk to them.
All right. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome. I enjoyed it.
And before we go to the break, let's meet another member of the Marshall University alumni family. Jill Powell-Francisco is a 1994 Marshall University graduate with a degree in criminal justice. She earned additional training certifications in 2005 and 2006 and currently works for a Huntington law firm. Jill makes her home in Canova, West Virginia with her family. Jill Powell-Francisco, another member of the Marshall University family, spreading the word about the herd.
From the classroom straight to your computer.
I teach international marketing online 100%. I conduct this class from my office, from my home, and it is 24/7 available to students across the country. I would say this has been one of the most challenging and rewarding experiences, not only for me, for my students as well.
Nationally accredited, affordable, convenient. MU Online.
His voice and name are quite familiar to longtime Thundering Herd fans, and now they will get to know Frank Gardenia in a little different capacity.
Gardenia was once the voice of the Thundering Herd. Now he's back at Marshall as Associate Athletic Director for External Affairs.
Worked in college athletics for 30 years, got out of it 5 years ago to do just some freelance work, independent work. I've always loved college athletics. It's not really like work for me. I've always loved Marshall University. It's my school, my alma mater. I've always had a passion for Marshall athletics. And when Mike Hamrick got the athletic director's job, he's a friend of mine as well. And he began talking to me about joining his staff, and one thing led to another, and just seemed like the time was right. I'm looking forward to the day-to-day process. You don't go from point A to point Z without going through all the other letters of the alphabet. And I'm looking forward to the day-to-day process, and it is a process, of trying to help Marshall athletics grow. I can't say that I've been at the highest level of athletics. I've been around the highest bowl games, events, NCAA tournaments, Final Fours. I've been around all those things. I've been to 7 Super Bowls. I've seen what people perceive as the highest level of athletics. And at the end of the day, they're just games like any other game. So I'm not really awed or wowed by any one particular event. I'm just looking forward to this process of trying to help Marshall athletics get better every day. I think we have the potential to do great things here with this program. I think we've done great things with this program. Overcoming the air tragedy of 1970, no one thought Marshall athletics could accomplish some of the things that they've accomplished, certainly in football in the last 15 or 20 years. But look at what's happened. There's no reason to think that maybe even bigger things can't happen in the future. We need people to come to games. Come to the games. We're trying to take this program to a different level than it's ever been before, and that requires better infrastructure than we've had before. And to improve ourselves on the national landscape in college athletics, if we have a chance to move up, we're either going to move up or move down as the conference realignment plays out. And if we want to move up, we have to have a stronger financial base. We have to have a stronger base from a fundraising standpoint and from a ticket buying standpoint, and we have to have a better facilities base. So I just encourage Marshall people to realize that this is your program. This is your athletic program. Come to the games. Come to all the sports. Have fun. Get to know the student athletes and enjoy it. Be a part of it.
Welcome aboard, Frank Gardenia. Glad to have you here. That's all for We Are Marshall today. I'm Ben Hollis.
And I'm Leah Edwards. Join us later this summer for an update on all things Marshall. See ya.
At Marshall University, you can get all the information and resources you need right at your fingertips, from schedules to flexible courses to friendly student resources. From the MyMU portal, you can search for classes to fit your needs, register, and even pay tuition, all with the click of a button. But that's not all you can do within MyMU. MyMU also provides a list of key resources for students. Convenient and affordable, MU Online offers a variety of class choices to fit your needs. Access e-courses or supplemental materials from MU Online. MU Online also offers virtual classrooms where you can participate in class from any location with an internet connection. At Marshall University, we make information, resources, and service a priority. Through MyMU and MU Online, you have all the resources you need right at your fingertips.